IMAX is apparently going to become the county's house. St. Johns County Commissioners gonna consider the next step today in figuring out what they want to do with the former World Golf Hall of Fame and whether the county will acquire the surrounding acreage. Let's let this one go. I think the county has not come up with any good ideas for this.
No, for real?
No. Following a discussion in January, commissioners will consider options for the Hall of Fame, known cost consideration options, and a financial review. In January, the SJC Cultural Events presented a plan for a possible partnership where it would basically ask the county for money and then run it. For a possible partnership where it would provide daily programming for the now dormant IMAX Theater, which is attached to the Hall of Fame building.
Right.
The county would maintain ownership and provide a relatively small initial investment of $1.2 million in improvements. SJC Cultural Events, Jerry Wilson told commissioners that in order to reopen the 17,865 square foot space as an IMAX theater, there would need to be about $1.2 million in improvements from the county, including a new screen. He said the initiative, the alternative model that SJC Cultural Events could do could be considerably cheaper. Commissioners will look at the costs of doing the partnership according to Tuesday's agenda, and will also consider the costs as well as the benefit to keeping it or selling it.
I don't see a benefit. What are they going to do with it? Yeah, they're going to. What do you think, Troy? Nothing.
They want to put, they want to run stuff in there. Nobody goes out there to see stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, daily programming.
The building. It needs to be in some private hands. So I'm supportive of it going into the group with like the AMP or something like that, because they have more flexibility to do some stuff and to make it work.
Private dancer.
All right. As far as the IMAX goes, the IMAX, it's kind of a tough size for it to work in a lot of different ways.
Me too.
A group like a Limelight or something like that. It's a good venue for something like that. But it still needs.
They got to fill all those seats.
Yeah, that's a lot of seats.
I think there's only 300 and something seats. So.
Oh, that's it. I was thinking more.
I don't think it's much more than about 300 and something.
Okay, well then that's fair game.
So I mean, I think we could move the level of some of those types of entertainment acts. That can be there. So
do they level up or do they just move venue? Because that's tough for Limelight to fill 300 seats. I mean, let's just be honest.
I understand, but I mean, they have to level up to make it work.
Yeah, but is there room to level up for community theater these days? I mean,
a lot of major cities.
And I love the Limelight. I grew up in the Limelight system. Yeah, everybody 100%. Knows I love the Limelight. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
But boy, that's a tough sell, man. That's a tough sell to think you're going to pack out 300 seats at a community theater.
Unless it's medieval times.
We have 350,000 people that live in our county. This is dead center in our county.
Yeah.
If it's done properly, which the only group that I think that could come close to doing that is the group from the AMP. But every major city, like if you go to Orlando, they have a theater at each level.
Yeah.
And we really don't have one at this level now that the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall has leveled up. Now they have the balconies.
Right, they redid the whole thing,
have put the money into this. So now that smaller level is missing. So I can see it working, but it's got to be done right in there.
I mean, a touring company,
the margin of error is super small.
Yeah.
The studio itself and the Hall of Fame section itself, those are still great buildings. I've thrown some ideas at the county, and I don't know. I think they're falling on deaf ears, but we'll see.
You're saying private hands, though.
Yeah, I think both need to be somewhat in private hands. But the purchase price that they bought it for, you can't build those buildings for that.
Right.
So the purchase price, if I'd had the opportunity to buy it at that amount, I would have been able to buy it and like they said, sell it off piece by piece. And
like Richard Lewis from Pretty Woman. That's what he does. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Always wanted to meet those
very
people.
angry with my father.
Yeah, angry. Took me $4,000 worth of therapy to say I'm very angry with my father.
But that's I don't think in the county's hands, I don't see that being a successful level. I think they either find a third party person or they sell it.
Yeah.
And you really, like you said, Troy, margin for error is razor thin.
Super thin.
You really have to know that a community theater model is going to work.
Right.
And boy, there's just not a demand for it.
But
There's
hear me
just
out.
Not a demand for it.
Wasn't there like some sort of like theater, amphitheater thing by 312 Bridge that got shot down a couple years ago? Remember that?
Well,
what happened with that?
That was so over the top.
Right.
It was way over the top.
It was an unproven group.
Sounds like,
we're talking, they were asking like $6 million or
Ooh,
something like that.
say it again, yeah.
And give them the land.
Wow.
And give them,
gratis
support. Yeah.
Sure,
And
take
still
it.
pay
You
for
get
it.
land. I
Yeah.
get land.
Yeah. There's a lot of people try to make grabs at free county stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
$1.2 million in improvements. That's a big ask from
Right.
taxpayers.
Yeah.
That's a big ask. Again, for something that there's just not a demand for. There's not enough of a demand for a small theater. It's just not. There's barely a demand for regular movie theaters anymore.
When I was in the cultural events world and was running the amphitheater and running, Ponte Vedra Concert Hall, they're like, why aren't you doing more art stuff? Why aren't you doing? Because it doesn't pay for itself. It just doesn't pay for itself. So it has to be subsidized, and it has to have,
a lot of it got cut.
You have to have angel donors, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
to really Limelight's at the mercy of their wonderful supporters.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make it if it doesn't do the fundraisers. If it doesn't, and all the actors there, as far as I know, are still a majority are still volunteers.
Yeah.
I think a lot,
Very few get paid.
Yeah.
And, we're very fortunate we have a community that has amazing talent, but it just doesn't, arts, it's got to be the love of it. It doesn't pay for itself.
Something's got to drive there. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think you can ask taxpayers to invest $1.2 million in a project like this. I just think it's too much, and there's not a return on investment, and there's not a demand for it. Again, if they would come up with a little more creative ideas, then
yeah, I don't know though. I'm kind of stuck. Like, what would be the driving force to get out there to go to that building?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of out of the way. Nobody. You got the World Golf Village area that obviously lives out there, but other than that, people aren't making a drive from the city of St. Augustine. People aren't making a drive from the shores out there.
The only time I see people really truly going to is like a church. You know what I mean? Like that's a driving force for people to go to a building like that. So I don't know.
Yeah,
and that's controversial too. So I don't know.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people live in that area right now.
Yeah. What do they do? What do they like?
There.
But
they come into town, and that's why we're having to close for St. Patrick's Day.
Dang it. Stay home, 2:10. Yeah.
Just put a bunch of lights up at the IMAX Theater and let people walk in and look at the lights.
Yeah. Right. You still have trees over there, so enjoy them.
Museum for the Knights of Light.
Maybe too early for the callback.
Small replica of the city of St. Augustine when it's lit up. You can visit it all year long. Yeah, let's come up with some feasible ideas,
The building I was interested in was that studio. That's a state-of-the-art studio there that's just sitting there. And that's the one that I see is, people know about the IMAX and stuff like that, but they have an amazing building where PGA Tour Studios was there.
It really is.
And,
very impressive.
That's the one that I think has the most value to me.
What about a zoo? We don't have a zoo. We could do that.
We got an alligator.
We can have
We got the alligator for us, the Florida Zoo.
Right by King and the Bear. We could play on that marketing a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and walk in the old IMAX Theater. There's bears in there. Watch out.
Yeah.
Hope you're the king of the bears.
It's a reptile
You stupid
museum.
idiot.
There is an animal rescue out that way.
There is the sanctuary. You're right.
Sanctuaries
Yeah.
out there.
Good peeps.
So we'll see how it falls out.
Yeah, it falls out will probably be the way it happens.
Probably, unfortunately.
Let's throw it up for auction, guys. I get buying something at a great deal, but, hey, somebody offered me a Cobra for $2. You can't buy Cobras for $2 anywhere. Well, it's a bad investment. So it's a Cobra. It's going to kill you.
Cobra the car or the snake?
No, the snake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought Commander.
Both will kill you.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, no. Just because I can get a good deal on a Cobra doesn't mean I need to buy it.
Shout out
Snake.
Lord.
Yeah. Snake.
So cool.
Tell you what, you buy the cobra, I buy the ferret. We'll see who wins.
Ew, who smells worse?
Okay.
The ferret.
The ferret, for sure, yeah.
Never sniffed a cobra, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have held a ferret, but I've never held a cobra.
Okay.
Does it count if it's a belt?
I have watched Cobra Kai.
All right. St. Johns County has a 5-year plan